yeah, let's get right into this. So first off, I will have some videos coming out in the very near future talking about simulator support for Android users, because we know that DJI does not offer simulator support to Android users, only to Apple users. That's the first thing. So I purchased two simulators, and it wasn't that expensive. It came out to about 40 British pounds. But one of them really stands out over the other, and I want to talk about some of the issues with those, and things to look out for, things that you should do when using these simulators on PC, because it is PC. It's not on your phone. It doesn't operate through your phone. There is no support for any Android phones that I know of that lets you practice FPV over your phone. If there is, I don't know about it. That works in conjunction with your phones. I have like 5 phones, and so it doesn't work. I haven't found anything for any of those phones. They're all different models, except for Apple. I'm not an Apple fan. I just don't like their phones. I'm a quirky person like this, which brings us into the next point, which is my props. Now, there were some comments on my crash video about price and cheap and cost and whatever else, and someone said I had some cheap props on. I just don't like red, and sometimes, as you know, with DJI video, you see the props on each side of the video and they were red, and it just drove me crazy. I don't like red, so I wanted a different color. I got a different color, and apparently the person said they were cheap. I don't know. It's just I found those. They had fast delivery times, and they weren't red. Now, if somebody has some high quality aftermarket DJI FPV drone props that they can recommend, I'll gladly fly them. Let me know. Send it to me. I'll purchase them. So anyway, that's that point. Now, the point on DJI Care Refresh. A guy suggested that you should have DJI Care Refresh. He's probably right, but at the same time, I'm not really sure that I care for it. And it's not a matter of cost, guys. I mean, I've crashed this drone twice now. This is my second crash. The first crash, I sent it in. I didn't have DJI Care Refresh. It cost me 99 euros to get the drone fixed. This, I don't know how much, and they actually didn't even fix it. They sent me a new one. And then the probably is, something along the lines is that's going to happen again. And if they say 300, I'm going to pay 300. If they say 500, I'm going to pay 500. I really don't care, which is the point. DJI is known to be the luxury drones of the drone world. It's just the reality. You can buy ready-made FPV drones of all types, motors, whatever you want. You can basically get them custom built for a few $100s nowadays. And the only thing that you really have to provide is the controller and camera systems. That can be kind of pricey, but generally you can get FPV drones on the cheap nowadays. Ready-made, you don't even have to learn how to solder and all that type of stuff. I just don't have a lot of time to learn all that stuff. I think if you're going to fly, FPV, non-DJI FPV, you should actually learn how to build and put those things together yourself. So if you crash it, you can, take it apart and put it back together. But me personally, I just don't have that time in my life right now to actually learn a new skill to, when it comes down to drones and constructing them and whatnot, which brings us into the next point. Guys, if cost is an issue for you with flying drones, then you probably shouldn't be flying drones. Let's just be real. If there comes a point in your life where you're gonna have to make decisions as to what you can and can't afford. And if you can't afford to fly drones, just don't fly drones. Learn a new skill. I was talking about this. I personally don't have time for a new skill that's a hobby. Learn a new skill that increases your income, or learn how to make passive income. Now, I obviously uploaded my Ethereum and my crypto mining rigs. I do a passive income, and I learn new skills. I'm in Germany, so I had to learn new skills in order to work in the environment here. And so it served me well, and therefore I can afford expensive hobbies without really thinking about the price. And if you are into any sort of hobby, then you should probably consider whether or not you can afford it. Even if it's a cheap hobby, can you afford it in terms of the time? Because when it comes down to simulator time, I spend a lot of time on the simulator. And so that's time, guys, and even I have projects that I work on the side. I'm a writer. I write books also. I've sold quite a few books. I still sell books. I have different stories that I'm working on. I'm about to start writing my next book, or finish writing my next book. It's a children's book, and these types of things, because to keep the income coming in no matter what, irrespective of my hobbies. It's just something that you need to be focusing on as an individual in your life. So if the cost of a drone scares you, then understand that it's going to impact your flight experience, as you're overcautious and don't fly with the necessary risk, calculated risk, to enjoy yourself. Now again, this doesn't mean that you waste income or you waste money, but at the same time, guys, it's like, what are we doing when $1,300 scares you? You probably should look for a different hobby, or look for a skill set that makes it so that this hobby doesn't scare you. Now, I've got over $15,000 worth of mining equipment in my house. It's obvious, guys, that a $1,300 drone is not scary. So think about that when you guys are getting into any sort of hobby, not just FPV, and you're worried about the cost. Is worrying about the cost going to impact my experience? And if it's going to, then maybe you shouldn't do it, because fear is no way to go into something that's supposed to bring you enjoyment and joy and happiness. And at the end of the day, guys, this isn't a car. If I crashed the car, if I was a race car driver, then I'd worried about cost and insurance and this, that, the other, because race cars, they're several $100,000 at a time. I work with a team here in Germany. They are in the, what is it? Something GP, and they drive Mercedes and Audis and Porsche. And those cars, they are hundreds of thousands of euros each. They have insurance. It makes sense. But for something that costs $1,300, guys, this, at my age group at least, I'm in my late 40s. This should be, it should just be throw money at it type of hobby. So just think about that, guys. If you're not in the position to spend the necessary money to enjoy yourself, then maybe you shouldn't be spending money to enjoy yourself. You should be spending time finding ways to get money to enjoy yourself. So I just want to talk about that, guys. And like I said, the next video will be on simulators. I like just really slang up that word, just simulators, and what your options are as an Android user who drives, who flies DJI, who doesn't provide simulator support to Android users, which is very rude of them, in my humble opinion. But hey, it is what it is. All right, guys, this is Drunk on Drones. Stay up.